General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Ready?
Broadcasting live
We're
on
ready.
WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web.
This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
I'm too cold to.
It's cold in
too
here.
cold to get this thing going. I need a blanket.
I'm like an iguana on my back out there. You know?
You're starting to turn black.
I know, just like I'm frozen in time.
I had to wear a sweater today.
Some people I know hunt iguanas on their property.
Yeah, I know.
With the air rifles.
Yes.
Boom! They're gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're going to be turned in for such a hater, Tom.
Not me. No.
There is someone here that does that.
No,
who
not
has the pellet.
not someone here in this room.
I only hunt food that I eat.
Like
Right.
quail
Yeah.
and pheasant,
So,
stuff like
Right.
that.
Not just to hurt an
Not
animal.
An iguana,
Not just-
not an, there he is. Get him. Boom. No. Can you open? I'm very
Sure.
cold.
Oh, yeah, because I came in with my
got
sweater,
long
so I'm
sleeves.
not
Yeah.
shivering. Good morning, everybody. Today is December 1st. It's the first
Oh,
of
no wonder why it's so cold.
December.
Wow.
And it's Tuesday, for those who didn't know what day it was. Welcome to the Trento Hour. I'm Susie Gold. We are listening to WNN iHeartRadio, 1470 AM, 96.9 FM, 95.3 FM. And we are also in Georgia. And we air on 9:20 a.m. The Answer, WGKA AM, as we work towards
Every Saturday at 4 p.m.
Every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. We are in Georgia. Of course, in Florida, every morning from 9 to 10, Monday through Friday. And we're working on the Georgia election. There's a runoff for the senatorial race. And that's Perdue and Loeffler, who are running in that race, who are the Republicans. The other two are those that we are not in favor of for lots of reasons. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about some great things today.
And look, we have a new location. for the
Mark
clock.
is telling me, move it along, move it along,
New
move
location
it
for
along.
the
Just let everybody know.
I do have an update last night. I'll just read it to you. It's very interesting. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and the state's election chief were ordered by a federal judge to explain their opposition to allowing inspections of voting machines that President Donald Trump has claimed switched votes in favor of President-elect Biden. Big news today. There's a hearing in Georgia.
Also, big news on that front too. They just had the election. One of the election machines that they're trying to uncover is gone missing.
Well, Dominion
Just
came out
poof, gone.
out with a big statement saying all of this is nonsense. It's conspiracy theory, and they list all the protocols that they have to do to get certified by all these different organizations.
Yeah.
So they have they've drawn a line in the sand. So the battle is shaping up. But what are we doing today?
Yeah. So today we have, and as those who have been listening know, that every morning we have a big idea. That is what our conversation is about for the day. Our big idea is Team Biden will be Israel's worst nightmare. And we're going to discuss why that is the case. Trump has made such incredible strides in the Middle East with the other Arab nations, creating normalized relationships with Israel. And of course, we know the move of the U.S. Embassy, cutting off ties with Iran. There's so many things that that Trump has done politically and strategically within that territory to ensure the safety and security of Israel. And we will see something very different with the Biden administration. So we're going to be discussing that today.
Sounds interesting.
Very interesting.
Sounds very
yeah.
very
It's very scary also how, really, you have an administration and then there are people that they put in power around them, right? You're only as good as the people that you're surrounded by. So if you have to look at those people, their character, their beliefs, their history, and then you formulate a picture of what that administration is going to look like.
I saw a political cartoon this morning. Joe Biden, his dog, he tripped over his dog or whatever. Joe Biden was on all fours with a leash, like a lot of leashes. And the leashes went to Wall Street
Yeah.
went to Iran,
Yeah.
had an Ayatollah holding the leash, the Muslim Brotherhood
China.
holding a leash, AOC,
Yeah.
China had about 8 different groups
Yeah.
that just have
That's
this
true.
guy on a leash. And love him or hate him, was Donald Trump on a leash at any point?
He didn't
No.
have
anywhere?
to be. He didn't have to
No,
respond
the
to
leash
any,
was reversed on
group.
It was
everybody else.
reversed. He put the
That's
leash on all
right.
of them.
which is the way it
Hey,
should be.
If Biden prevails and it's not over, we believe in miracles. I think it's going to take a miracle at this
It's
point.
going to be Hanukkah, time of miracles, and right before Christmas,
Perfect.
right?
Not because the evidence isn't there, but
Did you watch the hearings last night?
you need time to make your case and get it out. I think the clock's going to run out as I use the
I'm
football
on the I'm
metaphor.
I'm
Should
on
we
the other
continue with
side.
football?
Did you do
I'm
any
on the
studies?
other side. Well, I am going to be studying because if I'm asked, I don't like to not know things. So I decided that it's on my agenda
let
to
me ask you
study
one football question. I didn't plan on this,
Okay.
but we're waiting for our guest.
Okay, I can take it.
Is a football
Cylindrical. Yeah.
Like a basketball?
round, like
Or
a
elliptical.
basketball?
Or elliptical.
Is it like more like a golf ball,
Like a golf ball.
or more like a what else would you say?
It's an
Like a
I
tennis
could
ball.
tell you
Like a
what it
tennis
is.
ball.
Like a badminton thing where you hit it.
Oh
over.
yeah, with the little.
Yeah, little-
I love badminton.
Yeah,
Oh, I could talk.
birds,
We could talk
birdies.
about badminton. Now I know what a football looks like. I've actually held one
You
a few
have? Okay,
times,
good.
All right.
What does it
but
look
they're
like?
brown
Do you know what it's
and
made
they're
out of?
oval. It's made out of some not leather, but it's like some kind of a
Elephant hide, right?
Skin.
Elephant.
It's
Elephant
a
hide.
elephant hide.
No.
No.
Dolphins.
A
Dolphins.
sheep
Here, the
skin.
NFL
No, that's
kills
actually-
about
it's
20
actually-
elephants to make the football.
What? No, really. What kind of leather
Dolphins.
is
They,
that?
Dolphins.
they dolphin hide.
That's
made out of
only in
dolphin hide.
Florida.
Yeah, the
Those
dolphins,
poor elephants.
the
got, like-
dolphins use dolphin hide because they're the dolphins. The Miami
All
Dolphins.
right, you just want to tease me. That's all right. I could take it.
Do you ever
You
hear?
know, I was raised amongst men. No, really, I was like lots of male figures. Like
you
I
were
worked.
raised by John.
I
Gotti.
worked with with John Gotti, and I worked with my father, who was a builder, and he took me with him to work. So, like, I was with all the truck drivers. I was hanging wallpaper, putting down floors. I was cementing. He taught me how to hammer. He taught me how, you name it. I could build it. I could do it because I did it with my dad. So I'm used to being around men that like to tease.
Tom,
and
she would
stuff.
totally fall for pull my finger thing when she was
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding? I grew up with that. My father, we had a
Pull my
basement in
finger,
New
pull my
York,
finger.
and my father made, we had all the canned goods downstairs. And my father used to say, go get the canned goods before dinner, right? So he'd make me go down there in the dark. And my brother and him would be at the top of the stairs making ghost noises as I ran down as fast as I could to get the cans because it was so dark down there and I was scared. And they'd go, woo.
That's funny. To answer the question, because everybody out there driving around at 9:12 in the morning, WNN 1470, they're saying pigskin, pigskin, pigskin.
Pigskin.
Yes.
Oh.
And they call it get the pigskin, grab the pigskin because it's made out of
It's not
Pigskin.
pigskin.
Not
yes.
anymore. Not
Oh.
anymore.
Now, do they eat the pig too?
Some people.
They
No.
hide it and
Mark,
then they.
Mark does.
Yeah, I do. Well, they give it to poor Jewish
Do they
families.
play
They
pigs?
give
I
it to
wonder
poor
if they
Jewish
play
families.
with in Israel. Do they use pigskin?
Yeah,
Good question.
they carve the pig. They make it a ball out of it, and they give it to poor
Yeah, but
Jewish
not
families.
supposed to play around with pigs. In Israel.
Yeah,
But they wouldn't eat the pigs.
yeah, but they give it to poor Jewish families. Yeah.
They don't eat the pigs.
It's not made out of pigskin anymore. What was it
No,
made out of?
No,
Like-
no. it's
There are
leather.
fake
places
stuff,
in
like-
Israel
It's
actually.
it's like
that
a
do.
combination leather type of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to look into that because
Yeah, let's
All right.
look into
I
that.
think we have our guest with us. Do we?
Well,
He's
yeah,
in
second. He's
Israel.
getting putting his ear in. 1 second.
He's in Israel. Maybe he
All right.
knows about
yeah.
that.
Barry
Right.
Shaw, you there?
Hi, Barry Shaw. He
Geeky.
can't hear us yet.
You're muted,
Muted,
Barry.
muted.
Unmute yourself.
No, he-
Unmute
he's got
yourself.
We're unmuted on him. It's on his end. We can't hear you, Barry.
Your end. Can't hear you, Barry. You gotta hit the little thing that says.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
good morning, Barry.
Yeah, try
No,
that. Barry Shaw is with us.
There
He's
we
the
go.
He's the
Okay.
International Public Diplomacy Director at the Israel Institute for Strategic Studies. That's a mouthful.
He's also the author of a best-selling book, 1917, From Palestine to the Lands of Israel.
He's actually written several books, and Barry's a dear friend of ours. When we go to Israel with our groups,
Right.
which we did this year, everybody missed going. Isn't that
I know.
amazing?
There was a void in my life.
Yeah. Barry usually briefs our team there. He's an expert on international affairs, Israeli affairs, Islamic issues, the Middle East. He is. You made Aliyah from where? You came from England. How long ago?
Oh, shoot. Forgotten. I think I've been in Israel longer than I was in England. You
There
wouldn't
you
tell
go.
by my accent.
And he lives in
Definitely not an Israeli
he lives in the
accent.
beautiful seacoast town of Netanya.
Nice.
Up there.
Named
Beautiful.
after Nathan Strauss.
Is it?
Yes. His brother
time-
died on the Titanic.
Harry, last time I met Tom, remember in Tel Aviv, you invited me to talk to your United West group. I met Claire and you and others. And the person I remember perhaps most was Philip Haney.
Yeah.
Yes.
You and I had
yes.
a chat.
Yeah, we miss him.
And he told me about himself. And he
Yeah.
told me at the time he was worried for his safety because he was a whistleblower.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever got to the truth of that, did we?
No, that was the summer of 2019, and we came home from that trip, and then the year ended, and then February 20th, I believe, of 2020. This year, Philip was found dead by the
Yeah.
side of his car,
In
gunshot
California.
wound, and fatal wound, and in California. And the Almadora Sheriff's Department and the FBI have been investigating it, and they did a variety of forensic analyses to figure out what the heck's going on. And we were supposed to get the report March, April, and it's just been postponed and postponed. COVID. John Guandolo is sort of our liaison to the authorities, former FBI agent. And they keep telling us any day, what the situation is, but we're still waiting. And he's missed. Philip Haney, dear friend, amazing guy, founding member of the Department of Homeland Security,
Whistleblower.
wrote the book, See Something, Say Nothing.
Nothing.
Correct. Yeah.
He was the expert on the Deobandi clan coming out of Pakistan, which the Sacramento area terrorist who shot 10 or 15 people was part of that clan. Philip Haney was the nation's expert, had an amazing file, and when Obama came in, Obama told him, the Obama administration, which is going to lead right up to our conversation today, the Obama administration told him, we're not dealing with that. Throw the files away, literally to throw the files away.
And destroy all the evidence on the hard
Evidence.
drives.
He had
everything.
81 files. He fought with them on that. He was sanctioned. His badge and gun were taken away from him several times, at which point he went to Louis Gohmert at the United States Congress, became an official whistleblower against the Obama administration, and wrote the book, See Something, Say Nothing, because the idea was see something, say something. He's saying, I see this. You don't want me to say anything.
Yeah, just be
To his
quiet.
credit, he kept the files surreptitiously. They exist, and he's gone.
Yeah,
You're
you're not gonna throw away your life.
dearly.
And he also said to Gohmert, if anything happens to, and he said it to me personally, he said it to you, Tom, personally, anything happens to me, that it's a gunshot or anything like that, and don't believe it.
Don't believe it. Yeah.
Mhm. It's
So-
no accident, he said.
But the issue here,
I
issue-
want to tell you that as far as I'm concerned, from my personal perspective, I don't believe this was a suicide.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's two theories, and this is public information. One, he shot himself, and the other, he didn't shoot himself. And the he shot himself theory is almost preposterous. Just
Physically couldn't do it. Because it would the way.
Yeah, there's a bunch of evidence that we know of. I mean, who really knows the story at this point? But it's just inconceivable that he would do that.
Right.
So in any event, but it leads directly to what we're talking about today with Barry Shaw. The Obama administration, if Donald Trump doesn't prevail in the next 13 days, the Obama administration is back in full bloom. And Barry, you wanted to update us on your concerns with Obama 2.0.
Well, I know you've cut me off at the chase here because I've got a stack of information which points in exactly the direction you spoke about. But before I get into that, because I'm speaking to you from outside the United States, basically you could say partially, I don't have a dog in the game over here. I don't vote over there or whatever. I really go for whoever stands alongside Israel, I'm with them. But I want to tell you, what's going on over there in America is an embarrassment to the name of democracy. I am connected with people in a lot of countries, very influential countries, in Australia, New Zealand, Britain, other places. And we talk among ourselves and we say, in your country, do you need any identification, verification before you vote? And
Nope.
they look at me as if I'm stupid. And I said, well, how is it that all democratic states, you need verification, identification when you go and vote, except the United States of America? They're third world countries and with dictatorships. You're aligned now with third world countries and dictatorships that you don't need to identify yourself when you go and vote. You don't need verification when you go and vote. This is a very dark day, not only for America, but for democracy.
Barry, it's like they can hold a vote easier in Iraq during a war-torn country and have it more secure and verified that they can do it in America. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's
in Iraq and Russia and China, you don't have to identify yourself.
Barry,
No,
the argument is that to require, some states require it, some states don't, as you said. The
We're
argument
talking
is
about Republican states you do and Democrat states you don't. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and the argument is that requiring photo identification is racist. That's been the argument. It's only going to get worse, and it's racist because poor Black people, people of color, don't have the capability. They don't have a driver's license, and they don't have the capability to get an official ID. So why hold that against them? And it's like the old poll tax laws where you had to pay to vote. It's the same thing. You're gonna make these people pay money to have to go get something. So all they have to do is sign their name saying who they are, and you see what happens with that. I know it's crazy.
Okay.
It is
Anyway,
crazy.
coming on
It's
to
absurd.
what you mentioned, Obama. Tom, I want you to cast your mind back probably about a couple of months that I was in contact with you and I was trying to hustle you to find out about an organization called Organizing for Action, because I've been trying to get Project Veritas and the Heritage Foundation and some others to dig deep and find out what this Organization for Action was all about. Why I have to be here in Israel as part of the Israel Institute of Strategic Studies trying to find out what's going on in America and people in America aren't doing is very distressing. Let me tell you and your followers over there, Organization for Action was a $40 million organization headed by Barack Obama. $40 million, by the way, came back from the Soros organization via his son, Alexander. And the person who was the operating manager, if you want to call it that, of the whole system, was Valerie Jarrett. And they had 250 offices nationwide and a staff of 32,000 people. And they were working on something for the last year and a half. Now, if you'd listened to Barack Obama, he was educating young people in community organization. The Israeli name for this is bullshit, basically. What were they up to? It's too late now, but this should have been examined before the election.
Well, anything with Valerie Jarrett in it, because Valerie Jarrett's Obama's brain. So anything with Valerie Jarrett in it is Obama, just for your audience listening.
But anyway, if you want to further the Obama connection, we thought that perhaps, like you, that if Obama became the next president, he'd surround himself with the radical left, the Marxists, the socialists, and everything. And it was, first of all, a bit of a surprise to find out some of the names of his top executives, his secretaries, his ministers of various things, if you want to know. So I began on behalf of the Israel Institute of Strategic Studies to do a deep dig about the people that are involved here. And what we've come up with here is, I'm just going to give you a list of some of the names, and the penny will drop over there. Some of the names I came up with, some of the Biden appointees are Anthony Blinken, who was the Deputy Secretary of State under Barack Obama, and is now going to be the US Secretary of State. John Kerry, the Secretary of State under Barack Obama, now the climate envoy. Janet Yellen, the Chairman of the Federal Reserve under Barack Obama, now the Secretary of the Treasury. Alessandro Mayorkas, Deputy Secretary of Department of Homeland Security under Obama, and now become the Homeland Security Chief under Biden. Avril Haines, Deputy Director of the CIA under Obama, underneath John Brennan, now the Deputy Director of National Intelligence. Jake Sullivan, the next National Security Advisor, and he was the Director of Policy Planning under Obama. Linda Thomas Greenfield, the US Secretary of State for African Affairs under Obama, now becomes the US Ambassador to the United Nations. Michelle Flournoy, Deputy Secretary of Defense under Obama, and now potentially the Secretary of Defense under Obama, under Biden. Rahm Emanuel, even Private Secretary in the White House, may be the Transport Secretary. So, basically what you're seeing is Obama holdovers becoming Biden's top priority picks for his policy.
Well, why would you expect anything else? I mean, seriously, why? Because he's he's been there for 8 years. That's the only people he knows are Obama picks. He knows nobody else. I mean, why wouldn't it be Obama?
Well,
picks?
even worse than that, this is a continuation of those policies. So it's the people, but
That's
it's the policies.
He knows. He doesn't know anything else. He's been sitting in a bunker for the last 4 years with Trump. He doesn't know anything else. Only thing he knows is the 8 years and the 36 years before that.
We don't even know if cognitively he's even capable.
He's just going to go back to his. I mean,
right, so on one level, it makes sense. And if you're reading the Wall Street Journal, not so much that, New York Times, Washington Post, they are hailing these appointments, and their argument is Donald Trump brought instability domestically and internationally. Joe Biden's correcting that by going with an experienced team that brought stability to the globe. That's their argument. How do you answer that, Barry?
Well, I'll answer this by telling your viewers here, asking your viewers, American viewers, who think they're being represented in the Biden administration. I'm going to come to the next point, which I think you'll find very interesting. I found out here that Biden's top posts are packed with people who are top executives from the global strategic consultancy business, an organization called West Exec Advisors. I'm going to invite your viewers, when you finish watching this, go online and look up online West Exec Advisors. Who are these people? If you want evidence of what President Trump talked about the Washington deep swamp, this is it. West Exec Advisors don't call themselves lobbyists or foreign agents. They call themselves strategic consultants. Now, Joe Biden recently said, lobbyists are not bad people. I'm quoting him here, okay? Special interest groups are not bad people, but they're corrosive. That's Joe Biden's words. But what has Joe Biden done? He surrounded himself by the corrosive elements that he himself called corrosive.
He is corrosive.
He's ignoring his own advice. Let me explain about West Exec Advisors. It's named after the West Executive Avenue, which is the closed street that runs between the White House and the Eisenhower executive offices. And again, I invite your viewers here to go to their website, and I'm going to quote for it. They say it themselves. They brag about it. It is quite literally, they say, the road to the Situation Room, and it's the road everyone associated with West advisors have crossed many times en route to meetings with the highest national security consequence. For us, West Exec confers our shared commitment to our country and to each other and to our clients. They're putting their clients before the American people. And if you go online, you can read this. So I just want to say this, because if you think Barry Shaw is talking conspiracy theory, it's not conspiracy if I give you the facts and the evidence. So on their website, they say, we are a diverse group of senior national security professionals with the most recent experience at the highest level of the US government, with deep knowledge and networks in the field of defense, foreign policy, intelligence, cybersecurity, international economics, and strategic communications. And our team has worked together around the White House Situation Room table, deliberating and deciding our nation's foreign and national security interests.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
If anyone has been to Washington, been to the White House, the old executive buildings across the street, and when they are saying West Exec advisors, I never heard of them. This is the first time I've heard of these folks. When they're saying it's a direct line to the Situation Room, it literally is. I mean, the road goes right into the White House.
Yep.
And so they're saying literally that's how you get into the Situation Room, but figuratively, we control what goes on in the Situation Room, and the Situation Room is that room where all the very serious decisions. It's a very well protected room, and no phones allowed in. All of that, where all the serious decisions regarding foreign policy, relations with other nations take place. This is very disconcerting information if those individuals have an agenda differently than the Trump administration.
Tom. Really? If are you serious? If
we don't know, we haven't heard the evidence at this point.
Tom,
Bill Sugar.
I'm going to give you the link next, okay? But before I get there, again, I'm asking your viewers, I'm telling your viewers, who do these people represent? They're special interest groups, big corporations, big tech, foreign governments, or you, the American voter. Now I'm going to put the link together for you, Tom. Okay, this is really a government in waiting. And it's, as I said before, it's Team Obama back into power and steering America. Okay, now here we come. West X Advisors was created, wait for it, by a man called Anthony Blinken.
Wow.
The new Secretary of State.
Wow.
Blinken was Obama's Deputy Secretary of State, and he was also the National Security Advisor, right? And I want to concentrate on him because foreign policy of the United States is wrapped up in Anthony Blinken and flows through him. But before I get there, I just want to remind you, I think it was Robert Gates that said that Joe Biden has been wrong on nearly every foreign policy issue. So basically, Robert Gates was also saying this about Anthony Blinken because Anthony Blinken has a track record, not very good one, on foreign policy, with his intimate foreign policy involvement in the Obama-Biden White House. So I'm going to go through some of the things that Anthony Blinken was involved in.
Hang on, Barry. Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
It's 9:33 in the morning on the East Coast here in Florida. Cool, chilly day, 72 degrees in our studio.
Cool, it's
here.
just freezing.
But
57, 58 in Boca.
58. Barry, what's the temperature in Netanya?
22.
What does that mean?
22.
What does that mean?
So it's
In English.
45 degrees.
I'm sweating in short sleeves. That's
78.
That's
78?
centigrade. So it's 78 Fahrenheit.
No.
Here's what's going on if you're just tuning in, folks. Tom Trento here with Susie Gold, Jay Mark, and our dear friend and national security expert, Middle Eastern affairs, Barry Shaw. Barry is briefing us. This is an intelligence briefing on the threat assessment, the geopolitical threat assessment of the Biden administration. He's linking together the people Biden has selected, and they are experts from the Obama administration. But here's the key point. Tony Blinken, who will be the Secretary of State, he came out the other day when he was nominated or selected by Biden. And he told a story of, I guess his stepfather was a Holocaust survivor, very moving story, and intimating to the audience that I have a connection with Israel. My stepfather was a Holocaust survivor. So we're gonna work through all of this because, as you know, we here at the United West, we stand with the nation of Israel and their right to defend themselves and sovereignty and to be a nation. Now, here's the connection between what we are doing over the next 35 days and what we're talking about today. On January 5th, there's going to be an election in Georgia, the runoff. 2 Republicans are running against 2 Democrats. If the Democrats win, they control all 3 houses of government. In order for Blinken and the others at this cabinet position level, for them to get approved by the Senate, that's where they get approved. If the Republicans control the Senate, they can make life difficult for some of these nominees, especially the OMB, Office of Management and Budget, Naveen Tadin, who is an outright Israel hater, but she'll control the money, basically. So the elections in Georgia in 35 days critically impact what Barry is briefing us on regarding international and Middle Eastern affairs. Go ahead, Barry.
I've got my own thoughts about that. Obviously, we want Trump to win, but quite frankly, I'm following it closely, but I have no hope of Georgia going to the Republicans. I look on it now as what you've got over there is a football game. In England, we call it soccer. In soccer, you can have fouls unless the referee finds you and he can give you a card, a yellow card or a red card and send you off the field. But unfortunately, you've got a game over there, which is a game of football between a Democrat side and a Republican side. And the Democrats know how to play dirty and the Republicans are weak. They don't know how to play dirty. The other thing is that the Democrats, even though they play dirty, play as a team. They know the position. They know how to tackle. They know how to cheat. They know how to win the game separately and collectively. Unfortunately, the Republicans are a weak team with one central player, that's Trump. The rest of them are disorganized and don't even get behind the guy who produces the goals. Well, and I think I think you're going into this game basically with the other side 2-0 up, because I don't see anything you're going to do over there in Georgia that are not going to stop the same absentee ballots or whatever you want to call them that you had in all the other states as well. Until you plug that hole, you're not going to win anything. Anyway,
well, here's your perfect
analogy. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, hold on. Here's your perfect.
Wrong.
Mark, hang on.
No, here's your perfect.
Let him finish. We'll. Any other thoughts on that? Then we got a couple of comments.
Go ahead. No, I finished. I'm going to go back onto foreign policy.
I'm going to 100% agree with him. I'm going to play it with a video. And Susie, this is for your education too, right here.
3 wide receivers out to the right.
Doug Flutie dropping back. 5, 4, 3.
Flutie flushed.
Flutie in the end zone.
Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
So Barry, we're holding out, Barry.
Phelan is at the bottom.
We're holding out for the Hail Mary.
Here comes the Boston College team. He threw it into the end zone. There was no time left on the clock.
2 things.
The ball.
Right.
That's Trump.
Barry.
That's Trump.
Well, my God, I hope I'm wrong, but that touchdown is going to be for the Democrats.
We want to show you something too. We're holding out for the Hail Mary. One of the reasons we here at the United West for 2 years with our coalition partners, Jexit, Christians on a Mission, Women Impacting the Nation, a whole variety of groups, we mobilized hundreds of thousands of Jews and Christians to vote for Trump. We won here in Florida. We're taking that same consolidated skill set and we're bringing it to Georgia. We have a radio show in Georgia on Saturdays. We're putting people on the ground. Mary, who coordinates a lot of our work, is on the ground in Georgia. Others are going to be going there based upon our budget. So we're holding out for the Hail Mary of Doug Flutie through about 1981 or so. Yeah. Mark, put up the graphic of what Georgia looks like right now. We had our artist, Mort Cuff, design sort of a logo for the Democrats in Georgia. And here's the picture. We're going to put it up for those watching on theunitedwest.org. If you're listening on the radio, WNN 1470. If you're watching, don't believe the warnings that you get when you go to our website. It's safe. Is the picture ready?
It's getting there.
Here it comes. This is our rendition. We asked our artist, Mort Cuff, to put something together that synthesizes what's going on the Democrat side. And there's the picture that he drew. You could see Stacey Abrams right in the middle. She handpicked two acolytes on the screen right as you're watching the television. That's the Reverend Raphael Warnock, a total fraud. And then Barry, a nice Jewish boy, John Ossoff on the left. And there's the United States flag. What's that little symbol there, Susie? In the
look
left
at that
corner?
from Russia.
Little hammer and sickle.
Yeah, the communist logo. Very
Hammer and
scary,
sickle.
very
Hammer and
frightening, very frightening.
I want to tell you, Tom, if you're going to be there, I make a very strong recommendation to you. I hope this time you'll listen to me. You go there with an army, you surround all the counting halls, and you have them there armed 24/7 in order to stop hidden trucks full of harvested ballots arriving there at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you're going to do it properly, don't do it at all.
To give you a little assurance, every conservative para-government organization, Christian organizations, patriot organizations, they are in Georgia, and they are getting ready to do, I don't know if they're going to be armed and surrounding, but so many eyes. In fact, before you came on last night, federal court told the governor of Georgia, you have to allow Sidney Powell's complaint to go forward to examine these machines. So there's so many eyes there, it's going to be more difficult. But we couldn't be in more agreement that the other side knows how to cheat. It's because, and we've done a lot on this, they've abandoned any belief in God or any absolute moral foundation. So they're free to win by their own terms, any means necessary. We don't play that way. We're constrained by the Judeo-Christian ethics, and it's unfair. But you know what? We'd rather sleep well at night knowing we follow the prescriptions and directions of our faith than we start cheating and doing crazy stuff like them. So I know that's controversial, but continue with your briefing.
But you do know if you lose Georgia, you lose America.
I know. It's going to be a communist deal.
America is not going to be, and they'll be going off to Trump for the next 4 years anyway, because they don't want him to come back in 4 years.
I know. What's Israel?
In 4 years' time, the Republicans will never be able to win an election.
I know. We know. What's Israel going to look like? That's one of our concerns.
I'm going to come to that. But how long have we got, by the way?
We got about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we'll have you back on.
I'm going to run through this quickly, but it's very important. You understand that Blinken, when he talks about foreign policy, he talks about human rights. Now, he talked about human rights, for instance, when he wanted to get rid of Gaddafi in Libya, him and Hillary Clinton, right? They said he was a dictator, but actually, at that time, Gaddafi had given up his nuclear ambitions and he was reaching out to the West and to America. But he was sold down the river by the Obama administration, including Blinken and certainly with Hillary Clinton. And afterwards, he got killed. But of course, what happened with Libya when it became a hellhole as a result of American intervention.
Yep.
You lost an ambassador in Benghazi. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course, of course.
But what did they blame it on? They didn't blame it on Islamic terrorists that had been released in Libya because you managed to get rid of Gaddafi. They blamed it on a human rights protest over an amateur video, which was a lot of BS as well, because it was Islamic terrorism. So this was the Blinken human rights thing applied to Libya. That was one disaster. Blinken looked on what he called the Arab Spring, which is an uprising in Tunisia that spread to Egypt, if you remember. He called it, that was a human rights thing. You should support the students and the people against Mubarak. But, you know, there's a similarity there. I've done another article on the similarity of what was called the Arab Spring uprising in Egypt with what happened in America, because it started with the students, but protested in the streets in Trento Square. But it was taken over by the malevolent Muslim Brotherhood that had the money and had the muscle to direct the mob and the crowd. And who did they direct it against? They directed it against the police in Cairo. Does that sound familiar? What happened in America the last year?
Yes, it does.
And in fact, the people of malevolence, you can call them the radicals, the Marxists, the anarchists, the Black Lives Matter in America. It was the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. And they succeeded in deposing Mubarak. And what did the Obama administration do? They said they were criticizing Mubarak because of his so-called human rights
violations,
obscenities or whatever. So you ended up with the Muslim Brotherhood. What did they do? They put hundreds, thousands of people in prison who were supporters of Mubarak, and they imposed a Muslim Brotherhood reign of terror on the people until actually the army took over, led by General SUZI. And
yeah, total mess. All right, now watch this, Barry. Hang on, watch this. Mark, play a little bit of Joe Biden. He was asked, you may have seen this, Barry, but this fits right in to the Muslim Brotherhood's capabilities in the Middle East and here. As you know, we've been fighting them for many years. The Brotherhood is well entrenched. They have people in Congress. Well, they got Joe Biden to speak at one of their affairs through a Zoom connection. And when we saw what you're going to see right now and what our listeners are going to hear at 9:46 in the morning and what our viewers are going to see, it was shocking. And we said, we can't let this guy win. This guy can't win. Listen to this, Barry.
We all come from the same root here in terms of our fundamental basic beliefs. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, for being engaged, for committing to action this November. You're doing what's that's never been done before. You're registering and turning out 1 million Muslim voters this November. It matters. Your voice is your vote. Your vote is your voice. Muslim Americans' voices matter. I don't have to tell any of you that this is the most important election in modern American history. Muslim communities were the first to feel Donald Trump's assault on black and brown communities in this country with his vile Muslim ban. That fight was the opening barrage in what has been nearly 4 years of constant pressure and insults. I'll be a president who seeks out and listens to and incorporates the ideas and concerns of Muslim Americans on everyday issues that matter most to our communities. That will include having Muslim American voices as part of my administration. If I have the honor of being president, I will end the Muslim ban on day one.
The ban you guys started.
Day one. And I'm here today to ask you to join me in a fight to rip this poison from our government root and stem, or as the famous case said, root and branch, starting by making Donald Trump a one-term president this November. But I'm not just asking for your support because the alternative is unthinkable. I want to earn your vote, not just because he's not worthy of being president. I want to work in partnership with you. Make sure your voices are included in the decision-making process.
Great.
As we work to rebuild our nation.
Great.
We can't just build back to where we were before Donald Trump took office. We have to build back better.
And Barry, we monitored the comments of the Brotherhood organizations after that played. You could imagine what the Muslim Brotherhood leaders were saying and how that mobilized and motivated them to pour money in and to mobilize people to get out and vote. What are your thoughts on Joe Biden's appeal? That's essentially to the Brotherhood. This was a Brotherhood event, and he's appealing to the Brotherhood. Your thoughts, Barry Shaw?
Who lost his life.
Well, I want to say two things to that. I'm going to divert from what I was going to say later on.
We're going to have you back another day, so don't worry.
Okay.
We want to get through your stuff. Again, your thoughts on Biden's comments.
I want to say that, first of all, Trump never imposed a Muslim ban, so there you are. Biden was lying. Now, he said he wants to earn their vote. One of the things that I'm personally incensed about is that I think I mentioned this in the past. I once predicted years ago that the anti-Semitism, anti-Israelism in the British Labour Party would descend on America, and it did so in the Democrat Party. And I was referring that time, later on it was proved with people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who are in the Congress right now. And you've heard their anti-Semitism and their anti-Israelism. But there's something more disturbing to me, because Joe Biden has elected somebody to serve him in the White House who he's a Palestinian American. Nothing you would say is wrong with that, except this woman was an open supporter of Palestinian suicide bombers. And she will be sitting in the White House, selected by Obama's team to serve as the deputy director in the Office of Legislative Affairs. And she's been a vocal advocate for the annihilation of Israel and Palestinian suicide bombers. And she's affiliated with CARE, which is the Council of American Islamic Relations. And she's also a member of the Muslim Students Association when she was at Berkeley. So now she is in the White House right now. And this is the growing incursion of anti-Semites and anti-Israel people. So much for Biden's promises made, promises kept by Biden. But if you want to know where the Arab Spring is taking place, of talking promises made and promises kept, it was by, in fact, President Trump, by the realignment of the Arab states, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, perhaps Sudan, maybe Saudi Arabia's on the way, of making normalization agreements and recognizing Israel. That is a true Arab Spring, not the one that Blinken wants to introduce under a Biden administration. And what he's promised to do, together with Biden, is to reintroduce the payment of you American taxpayers' money to the Palestinian Authority without them, the Palestinians, having to abandon their what's called the pay-to-slay policy, in which they give your money, American people's money, to Palestinian terrorists, the amounts depending on the amount of Jews they managed to kill. Trump brought in a law called the Taylor Force Act. Do you know who Taylor Force was?
Yeah, we were there.
We were there right after that happened. Yes.
We filmed it.
All right. That is still a law in America. So what is Biden going to do with that law which says that until the Palestinian Authority openly decrees and promises and guarantees not to continue their pay-to-slay policy, then you will not get any money from the United States government? Biden and his administration and Anthony Blinken are actually going to reintroduce that by going around the existing law.
Taylor Force.
Wow.
Our radio audiences know about the Taylor Force, so some of them don't.
I want to tell you something else before you cut me off, because I know you're probably running out of time.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes with you.
Okay. There's a name here. I want you to. Karine Jean-Pierre was selected to be the White House Deputy Press Secretary. Okay? She's a black lesbian. Fine. She's entitled to her sexual needs, whatever. She was also the spokesperson for the far-left anti-Israel MoveOn.org. It's another organization sponsored by George Soros. And she's accused Israel of war crimes. She's called AIPAC, which is the pro-Israel American organization's severely racist. And she praised the Democrats who boycotted the last AIPAC conference. And this woman is going to be in the White House as the deputy press secretary for Joe Biden and the Biden administration.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Barry. You've ruined our.
The only thing I can go back to is I'm thinking Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie, come on, Trump. We got to pull this thing out. Michigan, Arizona.
Barry. It looks like Barry froze up.
Wow. But you know what? Thank God we had him on as long as we did. This week, got to have him on again.
Yeah,
what a wealth of knowledge, information, and passion. And we've got so much more to be said.
Well, we knew that if Biden gets in, he's going to dabble around, play with the Middle East, the Brotherhood. We did not know to this degree the people he would select.
Yeah.
So Barry Shaw. It's 9:54 in the morning, folks. We only have a few minutes left. What we've done today is bring you a national security intelligence briefing by an individual who does that. He resides in Israel. We've been working with him for many, many years. We will have him back. As you know, we do a lot of work in Israel. It's been a little quiet lately because we haven't been there, and Trump has been so pro-Israel. It not only has it been calm in the Middle East, but there's been the Arab Accords, where Israel is now developing written friendships with countries.
Where they're normalized
what's going to happen,
relations. Well, they're saying there's already, coming from the Biden administration, a rejection of everything positive that was achieved by President Trump in that region. So, there's going to be reversal. It was where, really these countries, all these Arab countries were more moving towards a friendship with Israel, and where they really on the back burner was this issue that, give up land and there'll be peace. Well, they're forging peace without this nonsense that land is owed to anybody. So where they live is where they live. They're living there 70 years. That's where they live, whether it be in Egypt or Jordan or Lebanon, wherever it be, that's where they are. And now we're going to see a reversal of that and normalization and peace, and it has already been forged. So, and one thing that I wanted to mention, which is really important, Lori Cardoza Moore, we've had her on the show. She's a mom with 5 kids, and she was homeschooling her kids. And she finds that within the textbooks that there's this information that is not true regarding history, regarding Israel. There's anti-Semitism, and there's this glamorization of Islamist ideas that are, truly destructive. So she founded an organization called Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, and she's become a special envoy to the UN for the World Council of Independent Christian Churches. So she formed this national organization, and now CARE is going up against her, saying that she's an Islamophobe. And
she got appointed to a
she got appointed to Tennessee House. They demand the Tennessee House Speaker to rescind the appointment of an Islamophobe, her being the Islamophobe. And she was appointed to the council.
Well, we're gonna have to pick that up tomorrow.
To the Tennessee State Textbook and Instructional Materials Quality Commission.
But the point is,
so they want her removed because she's Islamophobe.
This briefing that Barry just provided, it's about a third of what we need from him. Already, CARE has gone after Lori Cardoza Moore because they know they have, if he wins, a friend in
That's
the
right.
White House.
And what we're going to see is this, a real problem for Israel, a problem for
look at that thing up there.
I see it, but there's a problem in so many ways that you've got to tune in tomorrow so we can pick up on this subject.
All right, we will continue this tomorrow, and we're going to take a deep look at what's going on with the election in Georgia. That's the center of the free world battle right now. Tom Trento, J. Mark, Susie Gold, and Barry. We lost the signal with Barry,
Yeah,
but
but
he did a great job.
he covered so much.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Wow, he was phenomenal.
That's good. He was a little angry.
Hail Mary. It's going to be bad because what